Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to the second part of the two-part series that I was going to do. And I know I'm 2 days late, but I did not have the time to edit this video, so yeah. In the last video, I mentioned all of the mistakes that students make when they're studying, and in this video, I'm going to tell you how you can make your study sessions more productive. I know it's a common notion that waking up early is the key to building a productive routine. So let me just be very blunt and pop the bubble. I don't think that waking up at 5 in the morning is going to, make you more productive all of a sudden, and your body is going to get all of this positive energy all of a sudden just because you're waking up at 5 in the morning. Because at the end of the day, what matters is how many hours of sleep you're getting. When I said that all-nighters are bad, I did not mean that you should not study at night. I mean that not sleeping at all in the 24-hour period is bad. Yes, you can sleep at any point of time at night, but then ensure that you're getting enough sleep so that your body gets the rest that it needs. I don't know how much of this is really helpful for a lot of people, but I think question-based study is a very important thing. Here, what I mean by question-based study is that before starting a topic, you go through the questions. I know it's a little unorthodox, but you just take random 10 or 15 questions and then you read the questions, you get an idea of how much you already know about that topic. Maybe you know nothing about it, but yes, you get the general idea of what that topic entails. Even when you're doing theory, I think with every line or with every paragraph, you should frame a question for yourself so that later on when you're revising it, you can just frame the question to yourself. This is a very, very important point, I think, and most of us tend to forget that. Giving long hours to study sessions and not taking a break at all is something that we are all guilty of at some point, especially, when there's an exam coming up, or if we are, exhausting ourselves into thinking that, we have not studied that well before and we need to put in more hours. So focus is very important, and we tend to forget that perspective in the hope of giving your sessions a longer time and, feeling the satisfaction later that, okay, I put in 5 hours of study or 6 hours of study. It doesn't matter if you're putting 3 hours of study and you're getting a productive session out of it. It is much better than putting 10 hours of study session and getting the same amount out of it. First, I think I need to explain what the afternoon slump is. You must have noticed that in the afternoon, we all tend to get a little bit lazy, and many of us also have this habit of sleeping. We tend to become less active and less motivated during that time, and that is what we call afternoon slump. So this afternoon period that you have, that you're not able to study, is because of the lack of cortisol levels in your body. The natural biological dip that occurs in the cortisol levels. Cortisol is a hormone that keeps you active, by the way, which is maximum in the morning, which is why people always vouch for morning study routine. Then at night, again, there's a dip in the cortisol level, which again brings me to the point that, studying at night sometimes can be less productive than you hope it to be. You can avoid that afternoon slump by taking a short amount of break, a half hour or a 1 hour break, which becomes very important. Ensure that you're not continuously studying during the afternoon, you're not continuously exhausting yourself in the afternoon, because biologically your mind is prepared to be exhausted during that time. So give your body a chance to rejuvenate itself. Even in afternoon, you'll find yourself more active. Ensure that you're not eating anything that is rich in carbohydrates, because when you eat something that is rich in carbohydrates, the sudden drop in sugar that occurs is going to again make you unfocused. So all of that time that you will spend studying is not going to count at all. So if you want to make it count, make sure that you're eating lunch that is high in proteins and less in simple sugars. Because I think when you are reading something from the book just by yourself, sometimes it gets a little boring, and when it gets boring, you are not that motivated. It doesn't last that long. What happens is you read something and then after a few days you tend to forget about it. If you're discussing it with someone, if you're sitting with someone, if you're talking with someone about that topic, or maybe you are in a group discussion or something like that, it will help in a lot of ways. Even if it's a boring concept, you will remember the little nooks about that topic. Not all people are comfortable with group sessions. Like me, I study better when I'm alone. So what I do is I dictate the topic to myself, and then it becomes easier for me to retain it, like I'm explaining something to myself. So this point, I think, is a very personal thing. I think when I read something, it's better for me if I write it down somewhere, or if I make a sticky note out of it, pinpoint it somewhere concrete on the paper, so that the next time when I come back to it, it's easier for me to register. So I think writing down things, not everything that you're studying, but you know, the key points. When you will be revising the next time, you have some context. You know that this is what you read and this is what you gathered from what you read, so that you don't have to read the same thing again and again in such depth. To sum it up, make a shortened version or like a flashcard. I don't know why I didn't use that term before. So I think this is kind of a rubbish point, because it doesn't really help increase your productivity, but it just gives you a sense of relief. It helped me. I don't know how much of a help it's gonna be for everyone, so I'm just gonna mention it. What I used to do is I used to write my notes in very small handwriting, and very compact notes I used to make, so that, you know, instead of having these many pages for a topic, I used to have these many pages, so that the next time when I was revising stuff, it was not overwhelming for me. Because sometimes when you have a lot of pages to do, and you know, you have like a limited time, because you have a lot of topics and a short amount of time, so your mind registers it as something overwhelming, and you don't want that to happen every time that you're coming back to the notes, so that you're not avoiding it in future. So in order to not do that, ensure that your notes are very small and compact, and you know, you have everything written down. I'm not saying that skip stuff or don't write as much stuff as you need to. Write everything that you need to, but just write it very small, and just cover it in as less pages as you can. This point I'm going to reserve for NEET aspirants mostly. No, but I mean, it goes for any sort of exam prep, but mostly I think giving yourself a sort of viva, it becomes a very useful thing. I'm going to quote an example here. So when I was preparing for NEET UG, when I prepared organic chemistry, I used to write down the reactions, and then I used to learn them. So I used to, you know, just repeat them out loud. I used to give a sort of viva on those reactions, make my sister or make my dad or mom ask me those reactions. I don't know if it's a thing that is universal or helps everyone, but I'm going to mention it because in case it helps you, it's going to be a great thing for you, especially for topics that, you know, need a bit of cramming up or that need learning without any conceptual understanding. Last point, and it kind of mirrors the point that I've already mentioned in my last video, make a timetable. Please make a timetable, and because haphazard studying never helps. When you make a timetable, you know how much stuff that you need to get done. You know, you don't have to worry that how much topics are left, because you know that you're going to manage everything in that amount of time. Learn ways to, you know, just manage your time in a way that is not exhausting for you, is not, you know, making you unnecessarily, you know, give in more time and get less output out of it. So those were mostly the things that I could come up with on how to make your study sessions more productive. These are the things that have helped me time and again, and I hope that you got some insight on how to, you know, change and what little things that you can change. I hope you liked the video, and please like and subscribe if you found something useful. I will see you guys soon.